Subscribe to Sales Scholar Studios and do not forget to click on the bell icon.
Okay, so I like to push myself. See, when people call yourself crazy, that means you're doing something good in your life. लोग बोलते हैं पागल है, मैं मजा उससे पागल है, तू 36 घंटे क्यों भाग रहे भाई? 2 घंटा भाग के वापस आ जाओ. 36 घंटा क्यों भाग रहे? वो सेम चीजें है ना, 2 घंटा में भी कर सकते हो ना. तुम पागल है. People say you're mad, man. So when people say you're mad, you're good. I like when people say. See, there's no fun in doing the simple things in life.
Welcome to another episode of Leisurely Baatein. My guest today is Mr. Sajan Samuel. Sajan is an ultra-marathoner, a corporate executive, social change agent, and a short filmmaker. Welcome to Leisurely Baatein.
Thank you, Suvadeep. Thanks for inviting me.
Sajan, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and being on the show. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you. And we're going to have a great conversation. But what I wanted to understand that during these challenging times as we are in with COVID-19, how are you keeping yourself busy?
I think this COVID pandemic is disrupted everybody's life in one way or the other. This is a black swan moment in the history of human civilization, and in more ways than one, it also defines leadership. And for me, it's been no different. I think we are all in the same storm, but not in the same boat. So the intensity, the quantum of how it affects each other is not proportionate.
Right.
For me, I've always lived life in the moment. I don't think too far or too ahead. What I like to do is like to stay in the moment and ensure that the present is enjoyable. There's no point worrying about things which is not in our control.
Right.
I can assure all the viewers that the world is not going to end soon. Okay, and this will also pass.
Right.
As for me, what I've been doing in the initial part of the lockdown, that is on the day of Janata curfew, I ran a full marathon inside my house, 42 kilometers.
Right.
With a loop, 4,200 loops, and from there on I've started to keep on going at it, and I ran continuously for 29 days, clocking in 650 kilometers, 65,000 loops of 10-meter loop, to enter my name into Indian Book of Records for highest running in indoor running in India.
Wow.
And then, of course, it became boring because when I started to run, I thought I will stop sometime. I also thought this COVID pandemic will also end. I stopped, but this pandemic did not end. Then I looked at different ways to keep myself, motivated. So I started to climb stairs. I climbed 700 stairs up and down in 3 hours, 3 minutes. Then I did squats. I did around 2,222 squats in 1 hour, 11 minutes.
Wow.
So I found different ways to challenge myself. And of course, being a outdoor person who's traveling 20 days a month, sitting in the solitary confinement bottled me up completely. But I feel this was important for all of us to step back, introspect, and press the pause button and to understand ourselves as individuals. And I've also gone through the journey where I understood myself, I discovered certain facets of myself, and I slowed down my time as well. Right. Apart from that, work is going on. All of us have moved into the new normal, which is everything has become online now.
Right.
So that work still goes on, but I think running and keeping myself healthy is balancing everything.
Correct. And Sajan, if I have to look into your life story, there's been moments and you've been through like a huge personal transformation. So what I would like to understand for the benefit of my viewers is, what was that trigger moment that pushed you towards that transformation journey, and why did you choose running as the tool?
See, it all started off when I started when I was 36 years and 2013. And my life for the last 10 years before that has been physically inactive. I was just only slouching and eating whatever was available to me at my disposal. So one fine morning, out of the blue, it was not premeditated, it was not planned. I had no big thought in my mind that मुझे running करना है, and I just started to run.
Right.
And I could not even run for 200 meters. I stopped panting for breath. And then I realized that look how I've neglected my health to a point where I cannot even run 200 meters. I was physically not fit. As simple as that. And so what I decided to do, I decided to show up every single day at the start line. And I did that consistently for 4 years. So I was weighing 92 kgs when I started running. And I did not understand the science of running. I did not understand the science of nutrition, hydration, nothing. I did everything trial and error. So if somebody has to start running today, I will tell them that don't do anything what I have done, because you are at a position where you can injure yourself badly. Okay, and therefore running is a very holistic and scientific process. So for me, everything I did trial and error. I bought a shoe costing $1,000. I never had any gadget for 6 years. I just ran at feet. So when I reached, and I was running 6-7 kilometers, maximum I could run 6-7 kilometers. I will be the only guy in India who has run 10K competitive runs. Competitive 10Ks, 10 kilometers. Not even 21, 42, 10Ks. I ran in 34 cities in India. It is, if I tell this to people, they won't believe it. So because I was physically inactive for so many years, for me to get baseline foundation of baseline mileage, it took me 4 years. I graduated from 10K to 21K after 4 years because I had this fear in my mind that I will not be able to complete 21. So when I was running 10K and I was seeing people running 21, I was amazed. I was thinking, wow, man, I'm just struggling to run 10 kilometers. Your people are running 21 kilometers with joy. So I thought, when will I run 21 kilometers? When am I going to get this chance? So I got this chance in 2015 at Airtel Delhi Marathon when I ran my first 21 kilometers in a very modest timing of 2 hours 45 minutes. It was all about finishing and not any glory or anything like that. But then that completely redefined my paradigm. It changed my thought process. When I finished 21 kilometers, I knew, look, this can be done. This is not that tough as what I made out to be. Okay, then from 21, what I did, by the time I turned 40 years, and I had this very audacious dream that I want to become an ultra runner. I want to transition to an ultra runner. And ultra running in my scheme of thing is 161 kilometers, 100 miles.
Right.
So ultra running technically means even 1 kilometer more than 42.195 kilometers is technically an ultra run. But in my scheme of things, it was always 161 because that's the real challenge of it. I had this audacious dream and I was still weighing 92 kgs. So in that 4 years of running surgeon, I never reduced even 1 gram. I was running with all that weight.
Wow, that must be tough. I mean,
yeah, it was tough. And I was just running 10 kilometers. I was not doing anything great. I mean, my timing was not great. But I showed up every single day at the start line.
Right.
I never missed running. So when I had this audacious dream, I backward integrated. I knew what I need to do to reach that, become an ultra runner. So I knew I had to cut down my weight because ultra running, you have never seen somebody running 160 kilometers, fat guy running 160. You can't even envisage that. You might have seen 10 kilometer fat people or 21. So I knew I had to cut down my weight because the lesser the weight, the more distance I will be able to cover. So I actually stayed in a very small slum in Mumbai. Okay, very small slum, inside a slum, a very basic.
Okay, why was that? Why was that?
I wanted to make myself, make everything uncomfortable for me. I wanted to go through complete pain. I wanted to completely insulate myself from all sort of amenities. I stayed over there for 3 months. I slept on the hard ground floor. I did not even have a bed. I just had a mattress. I did not have a TV, a refrigerator, nothing. I just had one small room in a slum.
Right.
In that 3 months, I reduced 21 kilos. In 3 months flat.
Why was that? I mean, was it because of the environment or because you were not?
So one is that was never my objective. That I didn't have a plan that I would reduce 21 kgs.
Right.
I had a plan to become an ultra runner, and that was a strong goal. And weight reduction was a subset to achieve that goal or in line of that goal. So I had a very scientific process. I changed my lifestyle. I ensured that I had the right food. So refined, packaged, processed, preserved meals went out of the window. I ensured that I ate clean, mindful eating. I increased my running mileage. I started sleeping more. So I used to have my last meal by 5 p.m. 8 o'clock I was asleep, fast asleep. And I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I used to run. So I had a very, very scientific process. This is all designed by myself.
Right.
At that point also, I did not understand the science of running. I did not understand, the science of nutrition, hydration. I only knew one thing. Algorithm is, if you are burning 2,000 calories,
right,
you have to consume 1,500 calories, so you have 500 calorie net gain. Simple mathematics, which we studied in class 7, 8. I only applied this principle. So now it is called as Kiko and all sort of jargons and all that. I didn't know all those things. I understand. ज़्यादा बर्न करना है, कम खाना है, तो अब कैलोरी का बचत है, तो मेरा नेट गेन है. I only understood that. I was a complete greenhorn. I didn't know anything else. So from 21 kilometers, I signed up for 50-kilometer run in Goa in a beach.
Right.
I completed that in 6.5 hours on the beach.
Right.
I did not do a full marathon. I straight away went from 21 to 50 kilometers. And after that, I signed up for a 12-hour run inside the Delhi Stadium in nail-biting cold. The run was in January at 6 p.m. in the evening to 6 a.m. in the morning. It's 12 hours on the track, 400-meter track. You keep on running.
Wow.
I clocked 82 kilometers. And I came 7th. And the people ahead of me were all from Navy and Army. I completely surprised myself. Until that time also, I did not do a full marathon. I went from 21 to 50 and 50 to 84. So I thought, wow, man, this is my calling. Long distance is my calling. So then I understood that this is what I'm looking for. This is the missing piece in my life. Right. And then I came back to Bangalore. I was in Mumbai that time. I got a transfer to Bangalore, and I thought how to announce my comeback to Bangalore. How do I announce to people that I am back to Bangalore? So I signed up for 161 kilometers. See, I've been doubling 21 to 50, 84 and 84 to 161. I signed up and then I got scared. 161 kilometers is a pure mental thing. It's mental block. I mean, you're jumping, you're doubling from 84 to 161. I signed up for 161. I completed that race in 36 hours, start to finish, in Bangalore.
Continuously running for 36 hours.
Yeah. It's organized by Basin Sports. The race is Ennur Bamboo Ultra. I finished in 36 hours, and I said, "Oh, it's easy. It's not a big deal at all." So 5 years back, I was amazed at these people who are doing such distances, and I was thinking, "But these guys are crazy, mad. Is it possible? Are they machine?" And here I did after 5 years and thinking, wow, it's good. I had a bath and I went to office. No pain, no fatigue, nothing. It's here. It's purely mindset. So I did 3 back-to-back 161 kilometers in just 6 months. Correct. And then I did 36 hours stadium run in Bangalore. I ran 36 hours on the trot in the Bangalore Kantipura Stadium. I clocked 185 kilometers.
Right.
So from there, I went strength to strength. When the last 1 year, I've completely, to a reasonable extent, understood the science of running. Understood that running is not just about running. Running is about engaging your core. It's about strengthening, building strength. It's about adding variations to your running. It's about interval, speed, fartlek, long runs. It's about rest. It's about recovery. It's about mindset. It's about visualization. I learned that there is something called as periodization, polarization. It's something called as rate of exertion. All these things I started learning.
Right.
And last few days back only, I have hired a running coach. I roped in a running coach. Okay. Wow. Because I really felt that I need, I reached a threshold. I need that if I need to take my game to the next level and into competitive running and to do bigger challenges, I need expert intervention. So I hired a fascinating person with a very good track record called Romil Bartwal. He's done 111 La Ultra in Ladakh, and he's a podium finisher there. He's a Mount Everest conqueror. He's got several accolades to his name. Right. So I think the turning moment for me was 161 kilometers, because that is pure mental resilience. You are running through different timings. You're running in the morning, afternoon, evening, night. You are pushing yourself, and what happens with this ultra running is that ultra running is a very lonely sport. Unlike marathon, where you have cheer girls, you have fancy stuff, you have euphoria, here you are running yourself, and it is you versus you. Correct. There is nobody else there. Okay? And at different points in time during the race, you feel like giving up. The first thing which comes to your mind, why the hell did I sign for this race? Why am I putting myself to such torture? Kya faida, kya milne wala hai? Correct. All these thoughts come into your mind and you feel like I want to give up. But then an inner voice comes from you and says, no, you have to take the next step, the next step, the next step. What happens in ultra running is that you cannot see the finish line. There's no finish line.
Right.
You just keep going. You are constantly talking to yourself. There's a massive conflict between your mind and your heart. They're in constant conflict. But over a period of time, I've convinced the mind. Mind is now a very close friend of mine.
Right.
Okay? I think the biggest muscle in the human body is the mind. And once we start conditioning our mind, I think anything is possible. So, human endurance is infinite.
Correct.
It's not finite, it's infinite.
And in this whole journey, it's fascinating to listen, the whole experience, the transformation that you went through. But in this whole journey as a human, did you ever felt moments of self-doubt? And how did you deal with it? Because there are pressures. There are family pressures. There are professional pressures, and in all this, you are chasing a personal milestone. You're chasing that passion. What I wanted to understand is how were there ever moments of self-doubt? If you had them, how did you overcome them?
See, when once I decided to be an ultra runner, I made a very, very important choice and a very conscious choice. I knew there will be big trade-offs. I knew it's not going to be easy, because every day morning you have to get up at 4 o'clock, whether it is sun is shining, whether it is raining, whether my body is in pain, I need to be on the start line. So I knew that I will have to make serious trade-offs. I made those trade-offs. So I made those trade-offs. I never had any doubt once I decided to be an ultra runner. Of course, when I was running 10 kilometers and not able to move to next level, I had a lot of doubts. I had apprehension. But once I made that decision, I backed myself. Right. I completely backed myself. I knew this is going to take a lot of effort. See, overnight is 10 years.
Right.
The problem with most people is that they are playing to gallery. अच्छा उसने किया तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. And people are trying to do too many things too fast and too soon, and then they burn out. So it's all about also understanding my body. Our body is it's an engineering marvel. It's like a BMW car. You need to ensure periodic alignment, balancing, tire rotation, checking, servicing, things like that. Now, human body is like that. How many of us go and do a medical checkup regularly? How many of us understand what is the function of a gallbladder, a big intestine, a liver? We take everything into our body, expecting that the body is like a robot and it is going to do everything for you. It's not like that. Correct. So I started understanding the body more once I transitioned to be an ultra runner. Right. So running for me is meditative. It has brought tranquility into my life. As the metaphor says that, running is also staying grounded. Okay, at no point of time I take anything for granted, because there are plenty of challenges which will really scare you, and I am very much cognizant about it. So once I decided to be an ultra runner, there were never moments of any self-doubt. Even when I'm going for a race, I visualize everything in my mind. I visualize the entire geography of that terrain. I visualize in my mind the temperature, my race plan, my strategy. Everything is about visualization. So right. I have already ran that distance in my mind.
Right.
Only on the race day, I'm running on the ground. But actually, I've completed the race in my mind. So visualization is a very, very important thing. Correct. So then you have to also read books, keep yourself motivated. So running is about being in the moment, at the same time being away from the moment. So if you're thinking about the moment, then you'll only think of that moment. Then it's difficult for you to take the next step. So it is about being in the moment and not being in the moment, and then digressing yourself, thinking about something else.
Correct.
So my thing is that once you do this ultra 161 kilometers, it teaches you everything in life.
Right.
It opens you up completely. Okay, and it's a different world altogether.
Correct.
Okay, so I like to push myself. See, when people call yourself crazy, that means you're doing something good in your life. लोग बोलते पागल है, मैं मजा उससे पागल है, तू 36 घंटे क्यों भाग रहे भाई, 2 घंटे बाद के वापस आ जाओ, 36 घंटे क्यों भाग रहे, वो सेम चीज है ना, 2 घंटे में भी कर सकते हो ना, तुम पागल है. People say you're mad man. So when people say you're mad, it's good. I like when people say it. See, there's no fun in doing the simple things in life.
Very well.
Everybody does the simple things in life. Right? The challenge is to push to the envelope. But it took me so many years. I didn't become an ultra runner in first year of running. It took me 7 years to build that baseline, to get my foundation right. And I still think I need a lot more training. It is required. I need to understand more about running.
Right.
Never at any point of time you can say मेरे को सब समझ में आ गया. Now I'm understanding why heart rate is very much important in running.
Right.
People don't understand what is resting heart rate, and people don't understand what is your average heart rate. लोगों को समझ में कुछ आता नहीं. They don't understand what is cadence, what is stride length, how to improve running efficiency, how to correct imbalances. वो लोग जूता पहनते हैं, दौड़ते हैं.
Correct.
Today in India, 1 million people are running.
Right.
We are a late bloomer. Running came into India very late. But हर नुक्कड़ में गली में रनिंग हो रहा है.
Correct.
Every week we have got some 25 running competitions across India. And people are signing up for back-to-back runs. इधर भी भाग रहा, उधर भी भाग रहा, वर्ली भी भाग रहा, पुवाई भी भाग रहा, वर्षा भी भाग रहा. Because फायदा क्या है? You will burn out. So it is about picking your battles carefully, understanding your body and pacing it. So running has completely changed my perspective about life. It has brought a completely new dimension in my life. So my confidence has gone up. Okay, I'm more confident about myself. I'm able to resonate happiness with others. I feel that if you tell me to run from here to Kanyakumari, I can run, or Kashmir I can run, because mentally I've conditioned my mind. So running has done for me what I don't think anything has done for me so much what running has done for me.
Right. Any dream ultra marathon that you have in mind that you want to go for?
Yeah. So I am planning to run La Ultra 111, which is next year in September. It's a brutal race. See, there are races where there is adversity. There are races where there are challenges, but this is a race where you can die. Because the oxygen level is less than 40% and you are running at 17,500 feet above sea level. 17,500 feet above sea level, and there is everything there. You will encounter snow, you will encounter temperatures as low as -10 to as high as 50 degrees. And you are actually running 63 kilometers incline up with less than 40% oxygen. On 17,500 feet above sea level. Very few people, if 10 people are participating in 111 La Ultra, only 4 or 5 people are able to complete the race because there are cut-off points. So you have to reach a particular point at a particular time. So there are 4 or 5 cut-off points. If you miss a cut-off point by 1 second, you are disqualified. Wow. You will not be able to run further.
Wow.
It's brutal. It will kill you.
That's your challenge. That's the challenge.
Yeah, that is the challenge. So for that challenge itself, I have now roped in a running coach because he has already done that, and I know that expert intervention is very much required, and I've got 1 year of time to prepare for that. It will take everything out from me. It will open up my soul, but it is worth trying. It is worth dying for a race like that.
I mean, I can feel that passion when you said that it's worth dying. And when you can say that, I can very well understand, the boiling energy that is within you and how dearly you're waiting for next September to arrive. So what I wanted to, ask you at this point is, as a person who started, who overcame a lot of these challenges first in your mind, and you kept on implementing, kept on pushing the envelope. What advice would you give to youngsters of our country today who would like to follow your footsteps?
See, I don't know whether I want to use the analogy of running in every facet of life. Okay, I think for youngsters of today who are standing on the cusp of making a transition into a corporate life, or for youngsters who are already working in a corporate life and extremely pensive and apprehensive of what is happening around you, I want to just tell them only one thing. Your life is like a ultra run. It is not a sprint. Okay? You will have ups and downs. You will have moments of tough times. You will have moment of, happiness. You will have moment of sadness. Everything is going to happen in this life. But it is not a 100-meter dash. It is a ultra run. You have to pace yourself. The most important thing when you're building your career is about pacing. Because your life will be summed up in aggregation. One episode is not going to define or break your life. What happens with youngsters is that you're always in this mad rush of instant gratification. My father worked in a company for 36 years and he used to call his Lala as my baap. That time there was no managing director. Today we have glamorous name, chief executive officer, chief people officer, chief IP officer. All those उस जमाने में खाली माई बाप था, लाला था, माई बाप था. लाला को कोई छोड़ता नहीं था. 36 साल काम किया, कोई प्रमोशन नहीं मिला, स्कूटर भी नहीं खरीद पाया. Today's youngsters are going to change companies. Average they'll work only for 2 years in one company. By the time they will be 35, they have changed 5 companies. No organization is going to last for more than 10 years. They will either be sold or they will bite the dust. So for youngsters, it's about, I'll give an example to that. There were 3 bricklayers. Somebody asked one person, what are you doing? I'm laying bricks. Somebody asked the next person, what are you doing? I'm building a church. Somebody asked the third guy, what are you doing? I'm building the house of God. The first had a job. The second was looking at a career. The third had a calling. Most important thing is to find the true purpose of your life. When you find the true purpose of your life, your career and your job gets dovetailed into that, juxtaposition into that. It's about finding a true purpose in life. Because if you're looking at calling naukri chahiye, paisa chahiye, you will burn out. It's like an ultra run. Running fast, फिर आपका जो टैंक में गैस खत्म हो जाएगा, फिर आप रेस कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाएगा. It's about conserving energy.
Correct.
You need to conserve energy. You need to preserve energy. You need to pace yourself. You need to strategize. For youngsters, India is standing at a cusp where I think in another 5 or 6 years, India will be very dominant on the world economic scene because we are a country extremely aspirational. Right. During our times, our father used to put money into fixed deposit. No, मतलब कोई पैसा लेके जाना नहीं चाहिए, सुरक्षित रहना चाहिए. Today youngsters, you get the salary, first salary, they will blow it up in an iPhone. They will buy the best car. During our time, we used to graduate. पहले साइकिल, फिर LML Vespa. और बहुत देर अगर भगवान चाहे तो एक प्रीमियर पद्मिनी फियाट लेता था, ये मारुति 800. Today is not like that. India is an aspirational country. Our youngsters are aspirational. They are risk averse. 75% of India's population under 30 years of age. We have everything going for us. Everything going for us. It is up to us to take advantage of this opportunity. People like you and me are only going to witness this transformation. The youngsters are going to make this transformation. To all the youngsters, my advice is that, take life as it comes. Okay? Don't plan too many things and don't miss this moment. अक्सर क्या होता है, when children are building their career, they are saying, अरे मेरे को वो नौकरी चाहिए, I want my boss's job. They start procrastinating about something else. If you are able to do your job properly, automatically that is going to happen. Instead of thinking about that. So for the youngsters, one thing which is missing, I think, is patience.
Very well said.
They're not patient at all. They want everything in a hurry. So that is my advice to them, that you have everything going for you. We are standing on the cusp of a revolution in India. COVID pandemic is not going to last. I think maximum 3-4 months. Okay. After that, the economy is going to open up. What are you doing in just 3-4 months? Are you building skills? There's a saying in English that 2 quotes I want to tell you. One is jump and then build wings on the way down.
Wow.
Other one is that there was a saying in English before, look. When you're leaping, you should look, right? Look before you leap, it was.
Correct.
Now it is look while you leap. So the world has become so dynamic that youngsters of today will have to be nimble-footed and swift quickly adapt to those changes.
Correct.
Okay, and this all the time being on the mobile and being married to your social media, whether it is Facebook or Instagram, is not doing our children anything, any purpose at all. I think everybody, youngsters, should look after their health. They need to spend 45 minutes on themselves. It can be yoga, it can be a walk, it can be some basic exercises. Eat clean. Most of the kids today, during COVID pandemic, are sleeping after 12 p.m. and getting up at some 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. I think that is not advisable at all, because if you really want to ensure that your body and mind is actively engaged, the right time is 6 o'clock in the morning. So sleep for 8 hours, okay? Ensure that your time is used productively. Ensure that you're building skills for the future. And all of them have a bright future.
100%. Sajan, thank you so much. And those words of wisdom and motivation, I'm sure, our youngsters going to grab on that. It was a pleasure sharing thoughts with you. Thank you once again being part of Leisurely Baatein, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of COVID-19 in person. And certainly you have motivated me to wear on my running shoes.
Okay, thank you, Subhadeep. It was a real pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much.